family feud caught on tape.
We see Solange attack Jay-Z and try and kick him.
Caught in the crossfire, pop superstar Beyonce.
No one expected this to happen to Beyonce.
A singer famous for being in control.
We should get married.
From a secret album sensation.
Beyonce dropped an incredible album.
To the worldwide stage.
There's nobody else that's singing like she is. There's nobody else that's giving the energy that she's giving on stage.
R&B royalty, fashion icon, mother, and music mogul. Tonight, in the spotlight, Beyonce. It's the last thing Beyonce would have wanted. Video posted on TMZ of her superstar husband Jay-Z being attacked by her sister Solange in a hotel elevator.
She completely went berserk. She's kicking, she's throwing her fist or slapping him. It's pretty brutal.
Carlos Greer is a writer for People.
You can see Beyonce security sort of holding Solange back, grasping her and trying to prevent her from attacking Jay-Z.
Security not only tries to protect the rapper, but attempts to guard the famous couple's image.
It looks like he presses a button to sort of contain what's happening in the elevator so people don't see it when they open that door.
What caused Beyonce's baby sister to lose her cool?
She had a confrontation with designer Rachel Roy, who a source told me provoked her. Then Beyonce, she stepped in and said, hey, don't talk to my sister. But Jay-Z appeared to do nothing. It didn't seem like he did enough to prevent the confrontation with Rachel Roy. And so by the time they were leaving, he apparently said something that Solange thought was inappropriate to Beyonce and to her. And so that's when she flipped.
Later in the video, Solange attempts to kick Jay-Z while she's being restrained. This time, Beyonce, who has been surprisingly calm, moves between them. When the elevator finally opens, Solange lashes out again. Jay-Z exits, looking stunned.
This was a huge surprise. I don't think anyone knew that there was tension.
They all walk to a waiting car, but Jay decides to catch another ride home.
It probably wasn't planned that they would leave separately. Usually when Beyonce and Jay-Z are at an event together, they leave together.
The drama unfolded on one of the fashion world's biggest nights.
The Met Gala is the premier fashion party of the year. It's a huge charity event. This is the A-list party and one of the most exclusive parties in the city where you see tons of celebrities.
All seemed well earlier in the evening.
Everyone was having a good time at the gala, and even at the after party, they were taking photos with Lupita Nyong'o and mingling, and Erykah Badu was there, and Solange and Beyonce were taking photos together.
It's that picture-perfect image R&B's royal couple work hard to uphold.
You see Beyonce when Beyonce wants you to see her.
Howard Bragman is a crisis communications expert.
She always looks impeccable. And when you see her, it's at the right event, it's supporting one of her causes, it's performing.
Beyonce is very guarded, she's very private, and she does control the information that comes out about her and how it comes out.
Beyonce's brand is so carefully controlled, it was ironically the joke of an SNL skit the Saturday before the gala.
Tell them you wouldn't say something bad about Beyonce.
It's too late. They've come for him.
In a fake trailer for a fictional movie, The Bagency, anyone dissing the Queen Bee is hunted down.
A lot of people view Beyonce as simply perfection. You know, she is the woman who has it all. She's beautiful, she's successful, and she pretty much can do anything.
And she's been able to manage that image until now.
This video was a huge deal. This is something that they definitely did not want to go public. And once the public saw it, this thing blew up on the internet.
To quiet the conversation, Beyonce, Jay, and Solange referred CNN to a statement they previously gave to the Associated Press, saying Jay and Solange each assumed their share of responsibility for what has occurred. At the end of the day, families have problems, and we're no different. We love each other, and above all, we are family. We've put this behind us and hope everyone else will do the same.
Jay-Z and Beyonce have the gold standard for images in the entertainment industry. They control their images very well.
In fact, Beyonce's latest album shows just how much she wants to be in control. In a spectacular surprise last December, she dropped a self-titled album of 14 songs and 17 videos. It was one of the music world's best-kept secrets that completely bypassed the industry's marketing machine.
No one had ever seen an album released this way. You know, she didn't have any radio promotion. She didn't even tell people that this album was coming out. No one knew. The album sold out immediately. In fact, it broke records, and everyone, their jaws were pretty much dropped.
She's taken charge of a career that skyrocketed her to the top, silencing her critics at every turn, like after her performance at President Obama's second inauguration.
Did Beyonce fake it at the inauguration?
Did she or didn't she lip sync? And does it even matter? This was Beyonce's response. Posted to Instagram. Online and on air,
I'm saying leave Beyonce alone.
She became a hot topic of conversation.
I'm not surprised that she did lip sync.
I still don't think she did, though.
It turned out that Beyonce had used a pre-recorded track.
Would you guys mind standing?
But at a press conference 10 days later,
oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
The punchline?
Any questions?
Not likely. Beyonce set tongues wagging again with her halftime performance at the Super Bowl.
The crowd's reaction when she stepped out on stage during halftime was, now the real show is going to start.
June Ambrose is a stylist to Jay-Z and a friend of the couple.
I felt like the football team was her opening act.
Beyonce has evolved into this being that you just expect greatness from, to the point where great isn't even good enough anymore.
Pop star Neo collaborates with Beyonce.
There's nobody else that's singing like she is. There's nobody else that's giving the energy that she's giving on stage, and much less doing it at the same time.
Next for Mrs. Carter, a show-stopping, sold-out world tour. A Time magazine cover as one of the world's most influential people. And a summer tour with husband Jay-Z. Where did it all begin? That story, next.
Na na na, diva is a female version of a hustler,
Before she was the diva,
divas getting money.
Before she was the queen bee, she was just Beyonce Giselle Knowles, a little girl in suburban Houston.
Beyonce was really a quiet kid, kind of to herself.
Hoping to get Beyonce to come out of her shell, Matthew and Tina Knowles sent their 7-year-old daughter to Darlette Johnson's dance studio.
Harder, harder. When you first saw her and she first came in, I mean, did you even notice her?
What I did notice about her is she was very shy. You would ask her, what's your name? Beyonce Knowles. You could barely hear her speak. I said, can you say your name again, sweetheart? Beyonce Knowles.
But on the dance floor,
Beyonce would dance so hard that she would lose her costume pieces. Sometimes her hat would come off because she was fierce.
It was here that Beyonce created her now famous alter ego.
Now that's Sasha Fierce.
Yes.
That's who that is.
When she got on the stage, she became a different person.
But no one knew Beyonce had a secret.
I hummed the song and she finished it. And it blew me away. And I stopped. And I told her to sing it again, and she wouldn't sing again because, once again, she was very quiet, very shy. And I promised her $1. And she sung it again. And I was floored. When her parents came to pick her up, I told her, she can sing. She can really sing.
a multi-million-dollar star was born.
And I remember her sitting on the floor and I'm telling her, "You're gonna be so big." And I remember she was looking up at me. I said, "You watch."
The world looks good.
At local talent pageants, the pint-sized powerhouse quickly made a name for herself.
Before Beyonce's name was even called, the whole audience was rocking her name, sounding her name. Beyonce, Beyonce, Beyonce.
Judy Faustin took Beyonce to many of these pageants.
She always won the competitions. We may have had 500 plus junior talents, and she always stood out.
Thank you.
Adorable. Now, are these all the trophies she won from doing the talent shows and the pageants?
This is from the pageants, yeah.
Wow.
Yet no one imagined that at this young age, Beyonce would already face the ugly side of fame.
In school, there was some jealousy because she began to be a local star. So there was some jealousy of girls, and they said some mean things to her.
But the bullying didn't stop her. Fame came knocking at the door of her mother's salon.
Some ladies came and said, "You know what? En Vogue was hot at the time." And they said, "We'd like to form a version of En Vogue, but a younger version of En Vogue. And we would like to have Beyonce be the lead singer of the group."
Girls' Time was born. Beyonce teamed up with a group of 6 girls, including her cousin, Kelly Rowland.
Beyonce was kind of the pilot of the group. If they got tired, she would encourage them. I call her the energized bunny because Beyonce keep going and going and going.
I don't care everywhere he goes.
From the local spotlight to the national stage.
These Girls' Time, ended up going to Star Search, ended up competing against some 40-year-olds.
A perfect score, the challenger Girls' Time receives.
And they lose, and they're crying their hearts out. And I go over to Ed McMahon, and I say, "Mr. McMahon," and the kids are crying. "Well, I'm a dad, what do I do?" He says, "Well, all I know is those who lose, they go back and they rededicate, refocus."
And that's what Matthew Knowles had them do. In 1995, he resigned from his corporate job at Xerox to manage the girls full time.
I couldn't look them in the eye and say, "Give it your all," if I wasn't doing it.
So that's a lesson that you taught Beyonce kind of by example too. This is how you dedicate yourself to this craft.
Yes. It was difficult.
All they wanted was a major record deal, and that meant lots of hard work. Here's some rare footage of Beyonce working on some early recordings. Dwayne Wiggins was their producer.
Beyonce automatically stood out, and I mean everybody would say that because she simply was a very focused young lady.
That focus paid off with a big record contract. Michael Malden was an executive at Columbia Records.
We could tell she had pipes, and we could tell, again, they were young pipes, and because that's what you want to do is try to find groups that you can put in the incubator and just kind of develop.
The group settled on a name, Destiny's Child, and the hits started coming, like No, No, No.
To come get my love, all here for you.
Destiny's Child was on the express ride to the top until...
What happened was the girls wanted new management, so that was pretty tough for Beyonce because her father is manager.
The 2 members who wanted Beyonce's father out were quickly replaced.
Beyonce was, the one who got the black eye for it, very, very, very unjustly.
Beyonce became public enemy #1 with fans and the press, even being called a blood-sucking diva. The criticism was nothing new for the girl who was bullied at age 9 for her talent. But now, 10 years older, Beyonce was stronger. Her song said it. She was a survivor.
I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna work harder.
The publicity from the scandal was seemingly priceless. People couldn't get enough of Destiny's Child. By the 2001 Grammys, Destiny's Child seemed unstoppable, or at least that's what everyone thought. When we come back, Beyonce goes off on her own.
Let's go, give it here. Big energy, let's go. Give it here. Dance like a star.
Listen carefully.
Harder, harder.
Darlette Johnson's girls, the ones she calls the next generation of Beyonce's, are dancing to Crazy in Love.
Makes perfect. Crazy in Love, I love it.
Don't we all wish we were?
Crazy in Love.
It's the first single off Beyonce's very first solo album, Dangerously in Love. And it's the song that launches Beyonce as a major solo superstar and leads to the end of Destiny's Child.
I knew that that was going to take her soaring.
And it did.
It did.
Beyonce's Part 2, the solo career, begins with Jay-Z. He's in her first solo hit, and he's in her personal life. From their dating, to their wedding, to Baby Blue, the public doesn't learn a single detail until Beyonce is ready to spill it.
So, let me show you this.
An approach she learned from her father.
I'm not going to talk about Beyonce, the mom.
What about Papa G, the granddad? What do you like to do with Blue?
I'm not going to talk about that. You get nothing.
I get nothing.
You get nothing. This is Beyonce.
It's a philosophy that Beyonce would go on to apply to both her professional and private lives. Nobody learns anything about B until she's ready to tell them.
Well, let's talk about Dangerously in Love. The album did really well.
Yes.
That first solo album debuted at #1 and went on to sell more than 11 million copies.
The album did really well, and what am I thinking? Tour?
Studio, tour, more singles now.
Normally when the album does very well, you do a tour.
There's a small tour, Beyonce's first as a solo artist, followed by 3 more solo albums and a total of 5 solo #1 hits, including 2008's Single Lady. Movies?
Because I'm Foxy Cleopatra and I'm a whole lot of woman.
A fashion line.
My mother would make all these beautiful clothes, and after so many years, my fans, they were like, okay, we have to buy these clothes somewhere.
Oh, yeah! And numerous endorsements, including one with Pepsi that will pay Beyonce to advertise its products and fund some of her creative projects.
I think it's a huge deal. I think it says a lot about her as a brand, about her music, and that Pepsi would do something like that for a black female music artist. That's tremendous.
It's a deal that demonstrates she is as good a businesswoman as she is a performer.
My father was such an incredible entrepreneur, and any and everything he said he would have, he worked until he had it. And he taught me there's no such thing as no.
My personal opinion is she watched her dad. She watched her mom. I mean, her mom ran a hair salon. She's got this business savvy that a lot of people, a lot of creative types, they're one side.
And now Beyonce is on her own, announcing years ago that her father would no longer be her manager.
I wonder, where can she or where does she go from here?
I think that's a question you should ask Beyonce. I think she has the ability, the talent, passion, fans, that she can, quite frankly, go wherever she liked to go.
Where she went next was HBO, directing an autobiographical documentary that premiered in 2013.
Power's not given to you. You have to take it. You're playing a part in a much bigger show. And that's what life is.
We learned more about the personal details she usually withholds, such as the miscarriage she suffered prior to Blue Ivy. But even before the documentary aired, she was becoming a little freer with personal information, thanks to a large and active Tumblr site.
So if they're posting it, you're supposed to know it. If they're not posting it, you ain't supposed to know it.
After the doc, there's a world tour. Using her married name. So what could be next? Writer-producer Neo hinted that Beyonce's next move would push the edges creatively.
She's not afraid to take a risk. She's not afraid to take a shot. You know, she's not afraid to do this. And if you hit, you hit, and if you don't, you don't.
But aside from admitting to some recording sessions with Beyonce, he wouldn't say any more.
And I'm not going to be the one to let the cat out of the bag. Y'all ain't finna get me in trouble. No, sir. Nobody has the patience to wait for the greatness. They just want everything quick, quick, quick. And it's like, if you actually take the time to wait for it, it just makes it that much better when you actually get it.
As the world waited, Beyonce worked on the best-kept secret in the business.
I personally think Beyonce did it just to silence the critics, because there was a lot of chirping, a lot of like, Beyonce doesn't know what she's doing, Beyonce's in trouble, why isn't this album coming out?
Everyone thought I was crazy, but we're actually doing it.
The move was big, bold, and created tons of buzz. She used her Facebook page and Instagram account to announce she had a new album. No pre-album hype, no promotion. Straight from Beyonce to her fans.
This is how she rolls, because as launching an album, you know, people anticipate and wait for it. Well, it's just as exciting when she brings it out through social media. Everybody's talking about it anyway.
800,000 copies sold in just 3 days. Her biggest album debut yet and an iTunes worldwide record. The stunning move, just more proof that Beyonce is in control of her own destiny. Unfolded on one of the fashion world's biggest nights.
The Met Gala is the premier fashion party of the year. It's a huge charity event. This is the A-list party and one of the most exclusive parties in the city where you see tons of celebrities.
All seemed well earlier in the evening.
Everyone was having a good time at the gala, and even at the after party, they were taking photos with Lupita Nyong'o and mingling, and Erykah Badu was there, and Solange and Beyonce were taking photos together.
It's that picture-perfect image R&B's royal couple work hard to uphold.
You see Beyonce when Beyonce wants you to see her.
Apparently said something that Solange thought was inappropriate to Beyonce and to her, and so that's when she flipped.
Later in the video, Solange attempts to kick Jay-Z while she's being restrained. This time, Beyonce, who has been surprisingly calm, moves between them. When the elevator finally opens, Solange lashes out again. Jay-Z exits, looking stunned.
This was a huge surprise. I don't think anyone knew that there was tension.
They all walk to a waiting car, but Jay decides to catch another ride home.
It probably wasn't planned that they would leave separately. Usually when Beyonce and Jay-Z are at an event together, they leave together.
The drama. A family feud caught on tape.
We see Solange attack Jay-Z and try and kick him.
Caught in the crossfire, pop superstar Beyonce.
No one expected this to happen to Beyonce.
A singer famous for being in control.
We should get married.
From a secret album sensation.
Beyonce dropped an incredible album.
To the worldwide stage.
There's nobody else that's singing like she is. There's nobody else that's giving the energy that she's giving on.
Holding Solange back, grasping her and trying to prevent her from attacking Jay-Z.
Security not only tries to protect the rapper, but attempts to guard the famous couple's image.
It looks like he presses a button to sort of contain what's happening in the elevator so people don't see it when they open that door.
What caused Beyonce's baby sister to lose her cool?
She had a confrontation with designer Rachel Roy, who a source told me provoked her. Then Beyonce, she stepped in and said, hey, don't talk to my sister. But Jay-Z appeared to do nothing. It didn't seem like he did enough to prevent the confrontation with Rachel Roy. And so by the time they were leaving, he apparently staged.
R&B royalty, fashion icon, mother, and music mogul. Tonight, in the spotlight, Beyonce. It's the last thing Beyonce would have wanted. Video posted on TMZ of her superstar husband Jay-Z being attacked by her sister Solange in a hotel elevator.
She completely went berserk. She's kicking, she's throwing her fist or slapping him. It's pretty brutal.
Carlos Greer is a writer for People.
You can see Beyonce security sort of hold